What's going on, motivators? We got another video. We got to talk about Virginia and payback from Florida for the redistricting. Let's get into this.
Here in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis says he'll call a special session of the legislature to focus on redrawing the state's congressional map ahead of the November midterms that could flip the balance of power in Washington.
Ari, hi, joining us live in the newsroom with more on why the governor is making this call and what Democrats are saying about redrawing the map.
Well, the governor says that redistricting is just the right thing to do for Florida, but Democrats, on the other hand, are saying that the governor is trying to rig the midterm elections to give Republicans more seats in Congress. The governor made the announcement about the special session during a news conference earlier today.
Now, if we see right here, it comes down to Virginia. They went in and they didn't vote for the will of their people. Now they just won the 10-1 map, which has been redistricted. You have Northern Virginia now responsible for everybody down in the Southern Virginia. There's a whole bunch of gripe. It was very close, 50-49. So a lot of people don't like what's going on in Virginia, but it still happened. It's not the end of it too for Virginia, though. It still has to go through Virginia Supreme Court. So there's a chance it could be pulled back. The Supreme Court still got to finalize it.
All that Virginia voters have voted in favor of a referendum to allow for the redistricting of federal House districts in the state of Virginia, which will allow Democrats now to take 3 to 4 seats, depending on how things go in the midterm elections. We have 82% of the vote in across Virginia. 50.28 has voted in favor of the referendum, 49.72. Now, you might say that feels close with 82% of the vote in. The issue is this, that all of those states, all of those counties and districts that have voted against it, that vote came in pretty early. The 2 big counties where we still don't have as much of the...
Not to mention, too, Virginia, they actually left the session open way longer than it was supposed to. Another thing that Democrats see to do, they always do some Reagan
run up, which is why at 82% we're able to call this.
Ali Velshkin, thank you very much. That's big news. It is wild to think about Trump sort of concocting this plan of like, we'll just do this Texas thing. Like, yoink, easy 5 votes.
As if no one...
Easy peasy, no one's going to do anything, and then we'll...
It's funny how you see those people gleeful, like they don't understand. They don't have too much left to rig. I've made a video about this. There's nothing left to rig. It was Virginia, New York, and California what they have left. California has 10 votes. I think New York has 8. There's nothing left to rig.
It's kind of like the Iran thing. Like, he didn't expect them to fight back. He doesn't expect anyone to do anything. Like, he doesn't think back past the first step. You know, he's like, I'll do what I want to do, and then everyone's just going to roll over. And when people don't roll over, it like takes him by surprise, you know? I'm good for Virginia.
Donald Trump feels passionately, very strongly in opposition to gerrymandering in this one case for one day. Here's why I think this is so important and such a big win for Virginia, and kudos to Abigail Spanberger and Louise Lucas and the others for pushing it.
Remember again, Abigail Spanberger ran as a moderate, and this is far left from what the people wanted her to do. Virginia was pretty fair with a 6-5 map. 6 Democrats, 5 Republicans. Now she put it into 10 Democrats, 1 Republican. So the people who voted for the person that they have in Congress now is being redrawn.
In Virginia, but I think sometimes there's fatalism on the anti-Trump, pro-democracy side about how, they're going to cheat in these elections. And, I hear that a lot from people. They tried to cheat. Like, this was a case of them trying to cheat. They tried to do this mid-cycle redistricting.
And that's what I'm saying. These people are lying.
Been drawn to increase a party's chances of winning an election in each district. Let's take a close look at Maryland's 3rd congressional district as an example. In 2014, the Washington Post found this district to be the 2nd most gerrymandered in the entire country. But it benefited their side. And Democrats, under Governor Martin O'Malley, continued to use redistricting to their advantage.
Of course they did. That's all Democrats does. And I'm not saying Republicans don't do this too. Everybody gerrymandered, but Democrats take it to another level.
Taking a 4-4 split in congressional representatives in 2000 and turning it into a 6-2 Democratic advantage in 2004. Today, thanks in part to further redistricting in 2010, Democrats hold 7 of the 8 congressional seats. only one district, District 6, was considered.
And my point exactly, they have rigged it so many times as far as gerrymander. There is no more space to gerrymander. Some of them are 0. If Maryland goes and it's redistrict, it will be 8-0. And if Virginia goes back, it will be 11-0. There is no more space. The Republicans still have space.
Issued a proclamation to convene the legislature to focus on redistricting, redrawing Florida's congressional map. The special session is scheduled to happen in late April. DeSantis says so many people have now moved to Florida that this is something that needs to be done to ensure everybody has equal representation. But Democrats say this has nothing to do with people and everything to do with politics.
Our population has changed so much in the last 4 or 5 years. We need to get apportioned properly, and people deserve equal representation.
People should pick their politicians. Politicians should not pick their people. Florida's government should not be rigging elections. That's what they do in places like Cuba and Venezuela, not America.
Yeah, but Virginia just did. California been doing it for days, for years, decades. I just showed you Baltimore. These people make me sick. Politicians are the worst. Some of them on Republican side too. They're the worst. They lie to you in your face when you could go and pull up the information online. They're going to tell you, oh no, they're the one rigging. It's got to be in a different country. While they do it beneath your nose. There are many Democrat states with 0 representation. 0 representation of Republicans. Some Republicans too. But they're touting this lie. They know this stuff. I'm telling you, do not let both Republican and Democrat fool you. Get your own information, and from your own information, make your choices.
Democrat leadership says they believe redistricting is just not legal, saying Florida's constitution prevents redrawing the state maps to benefit one party over the other. It is almost certain this issue will eventually wind up in court.
But gerrymandering is, right?
Districting measure, which could give Democrats an advantage heading into the midterms, and a big one at that. With former President Barack Obama writing on X, quote, "Congratulations, Virginia. Republicans are trying to tilt the midterm elections in their favor, but they haven't done it yet. Thanks for showing us what it looks like to stand up for our democracy and fight back." Our next guest lives in Virginia.
Man, this guy's the worst. President Obama is the worst. I mean, I voted for President Obama in his first term, but now he's the worst. He has made the country worse than it was before. I am saying that. I know when I voted for him back in 2008, I believed some of what he was talking about. Trying to bring the country together. This guy's the worst.
Sickening. You know, Virginia used to have what was basically the most fair maps in the country. Our congressional delegation of 11 seats sent 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans. And so, as you said, now it's going to be 10-1. But this whole referendum was a gaslighting attempt. Much like we were told Abigail Spanberger was a moderate, we were told that this was a temporary measure. We were told that it is to restore fairness. And there is absolutely nothing fair about upstate Virginia basically dictating what is going on for the rest of the state and the rest of the country. Because, you know, it's the signs that we saw that had the most resonance downstate actually said, "Don't Fairfax my Virginia." And I think there's a real disgust with how Northern Virginia is stomping all over lower income.
Here's the thing about redistricting too. There's no guarantee that those 4 seats are going to be Democrats. It's likely, but there's no guarantee. People could still vote in their best interest and vote against whomever they put in. So it remains to be seen.
Makes a lot of sense. And the reality is if you look at like California, you know, they're doing all this dog and pony show there now, saying, oh, Texas, we've got to combat Texas. California is one of the worst gerrymandered maps there is. You know, what they did, this is how they do. They're like, no, we're going to do an independent commission.
And that's what I say. Democrats are touting all of this, and they think it's a win. I think it might be too early. I think it might be too early because we still got 7 days left. 7 days, and we're going to see what Florida is going to do. And they're touting that they're going to do it. We're going to take that 4 seats and flip it right back into where it needs to be at as far as Republicans' favor. Let's wait and see.
So they do a commission. The problem is, it's like if you truly were independent, it's like you would be immune to any type of partisan pressures. But that commission is comprised of liberal Democrats, liberal independents, and very liberal Republicans. I think one of the Republicans is.
All right, so we get the gist of this, right? The point is, Florida is going to vote on April 28th. So right now, we are the 22nd. So we got about 6 more days. 6 more days. Let's see what that's going to do in opposition to what just happened in Virginia. Because Virginia took 4 away. Florida could take 5 or 6. I mean, that's how the game is being played right now. The point is, again, Democrats do not have too many spaces left to do a gerrymander. They have California, which took more of it. We just voted from the 12 seats that they have Republican to probably bring it down to 6. I don't know what else they could do because they did that portion already. And then you have New York, which tried and they said no. But if New York does pass it, they don't have too much left neither. It's 8 seats. But let's wait and see. All right, let me know what you think inside the comments. All right, motivators, if you enjoy what you've seen and heard, please like, comment, share, but most importantly, subscribe to A Black Veteran's Perspective. Stay motivated.